to biology class. My name is Shukri Jomobolaji, and here with me is.
Hostile.
Today we're here to talk about genetics, brief you and enlighten you on genetics. Now, what is genetics? Genetics can be defined as the study of heredity and variation. Heredity can be defined as the transmission and expression of characters and traits from parents to offspring. Ever wonder why you talk like your mom, walk like your dad? It's due to the work of genes in our body. Now, variation can be defined as the differences between parents and offspring, as well as among offspring. There are two types of variation. We have hereditary variation and environmental variation. Now, hereditary variation can be defined as differences between parents and offspring that can be transmitted through genes. Now, environmental variation, differences between parents and offspring that cannot be transmitted but are due to like environmental factors like the weather, diet, food, etc. Now, transmittable characters in human beings. We have eye color of skin, hair. We have height in human. We have color blindness. We have sickle cell anemia. We have tongue rolling. We have ability to taste ATP. Now, transmitable characters in plants. We have food content of the fruit. We have size of leaf, plants. We have lifespan. We have color of leaf, etc. Now let's talk about the terminologies in genetics. What are genes? Genes can be defined as single units of inheritance in organisms. They are located on chromosomes and are responsible for the transmission of characters and traits from parents to offspring. Chromosomes. Chromosomes are thread-like bodies found in nucleus of cell. And in man, we have 23 pairs of chromosomes. Now, the amount of chromosomes differ according to the organisms, but in man, 23 pairs, which make up 46 chromosomes in general. What is a gamete? A gamete can be defined as a matured sex cell which takes place in sexual reproduction. Now, a zygote is formed as a result of fusion between male and female gametes. It is when the male sex cell fuses with the female sex cell during fertilization, which takes place in the fallopian tube. Then we have the phenotype. The phenotype can be defined as the sum total of all observable characters or traits in an organism. Can be physical, physiological, or behavioral traits in an organism. It can also be defined as the things we see, the characters and traits that are physically seen. Then we have the genotype. Genotype can be defined as the characters or traits transmitted by the genes. We don't necessarily have to see these characters or traits in the organisms. A hybrid is an offspring from a cross between two parents that are genetically different but of the same species. Now, mutation can be defined as change in genetic makeup in an organism resulting in new characteristics that are inheritable. Locus is the site of location of a gene in a chromosome. Haploid is the number of chromosomes found in the sex cell, and it is half the number of diploids and can be represented by the number n. While diploid is the number of chromosomes found in the somatic cells, which are the body cells, and is twice the number of the haploid and can be presented as 2n.
So now we're going to talk about Mendel's experiments in genetics. Gregor Mendel was born in the year 1822 and died in the year 1884. He was a monk in the Augustinian monastery in Brunn, Austria, Europe. He is the father of genetics because of the work he formed for the basis of hereditary and variation. His major aim was to understand the pattern of inheritance in the pea plant. So Mendel had various reasons for choosing the pea plant. I mean, why would you expect him to use a pea plant? One of his reasons was that the pea plant had unique characters. Unlike any other plant, they were self-pollinating and the pea plant had a very short lifespan. So he carried out this experiment by two methods, the monohybrid inheritance and the dihybrid inheritance. So I'll be talking about monohybrid inheritance first of all. So for monohybrid inheritance, Gregor Mendel, he used artificial methods to cross different plants at a time, different plants with one pair of contrasting characters. So that led to him creating, his first law which states that the genes which are found in the locus of the cell are responsible for the development of the individual and are independently transmitted from one generation to another without undergoing any form of alteration or change. An example of monohybrid inheritance is when Mendel decided to cross two plants, one with tallness, another with shortness. So when he crossed the two plants, he realized that the F1 generation, that is the first filial generation, gave us plants which were all tall. And then when he decided to self-pollinate the first filial generation with one another, phenotypically, it gave us plants with three tallness to one shortness. And genotypically, it gave us plants with one homozygous tallness, two heterozygous tallness, and one homozygous shortness. That hybrid inheritance. This is when Mendel decided to cross two different plants, one with round and yellow seeds, the other with wrinkled and green seeds. When he decided to cross these plants, the first filial generation, he found out that all the plants had round and yellow seeds. Then he self-pollinated the first filial generation, and he gave him plants that had round and yellow seeds, wrinkled and yellow seeds, round and green seeds, wrinkled and green seeds, all approximately in the ratio 9, ratio 3, ratio 3, ratio 1. The outcome of this experiment brought him to figure out a second law of inheritance, which states that each character behaves as a separate unit and is inherited independently of any other character. So, Bolaji, what do you think about genetics?
I feel like genetics helps us to understand concepts of the transmission of traits and characters in organisms. It actually helps us to know that we inherited something from our parents, whether we see it or not. And in those things we inherit them can actually be passed to our offspring. Like, tell me, what are the characters or traits you inherited from parents?
Well, the color of my skin, the shape of my eye, and my intelligence.
Intelligence. So, like, genetics is a topic that we should all be aware of because it helps us to understand ourselves better and how things work from generation to generation.